good to me.
Okay, do I have a recommendation to approve this interlocal agreement?
Yeah. I so move.
Connie, you're okay?
Fine with
Can
it
it be
on
on the
the
consent
consent,
agenda? Connie? Will?
Yep.
Consent, okay. Thank you. Count number 2, center HVAC system repairs, Christie, Jim, whomever. All right.
Welcome.
You don't look like Christy.
Here's your painting outfit. I thought you'd been painting all day.
Oh, this is what I painted. Can't you tell by the blue? That's right. Well, as you know from the item in your packet, the control system that monitors and adjusts the temperatures and allows us to adjust the temperatures within the building had a failure in December of this past year, 2010, and we've been working towards finding an appropriate solution for that since then. And we've outlined several different possible solutions inside here to take care of that problem. And this isn't, the problem is not the air handler units themselves and their ability to put out heating or cooling. It is the computer controls and the automation portion of it that allows signals to be sent to it to tell it when to heat, when to cool, and to send alarms back to us saying, hey, there's a problem, there's an issue, or or set different other parameters as far as having a time when the system runs versus a time when the system is going to be off or in an unoccupied mode. So that's...
Okay, questions for Mr. Jim? Lauren? I thought you were moving up.
No, I was just checking a couple things here.
Okay, Connie?
No, I don't.
Will?
Well, what's the recommendation?
Yeah, that,
Recommendation?
we have two options here.
You got option
Yes, we have
two.
we listed
1,
several
2,
options.
3,
And
3B, 4, 4B.
that's right. And the last page of that portion, we do list two recommendations. There are two possible solutions that we feel are viable that we would like you to consider. The first is option 1, and that is to replace the system on the south side with a proprietary Talon system, which is the kind of the sister system to what was on there now, or the big brother of what that system was, which is no longer available. That is a cost of $18,400. It provides the city with the least amount of cost up front to upgrade the current system to the Talon control system. However, it leaves a significant portion of the building with parts that are still 6 to 12 years of age with no warranty on any of those existing parts. Leaves the city open to the possibility of repairs for aging equipment and parts. And additionally, because it is a proprietary system, it locks the city into one vendor for the life of that equipment. And so you can't really get competitive pricing for work on that system. That is the company automated control system, which currently services the controls. It's an upgrade of their current system.
And the next one?
And the other option is option 4A, is to replace the entire system with Honeywell web controls. Has a 1-year warranty on parts and labor, and it's to be paid at $1,188 per month. That's $14,256 annually for 5 years. This option provides the city with the best way to completely replace the current system with a new system. The Honeywell web controls, while paying, you pay for it over a 5-year period. The web control system would be completely new. You'd be looking at new parts throughout the entire building for that, meaning everything from your thermostats back up through your wiring, going back to all the different boards, all the different computer pieces and components that go back into the main frame of the trunk, and finally to the kind of backbone of it, which is your web controller. You get the 1-year full warranty, and there's an option there to go with a 5-year full warranty, but when you're buying something brand new like that, we wouldn't expect it to have any significant problems over that 5-year period. So paying for the other option with the warranty is probably not a wise investment of city funds. This option allows the city to pay for the system over a period of time, fixing the cost of replacement over that 5 years at the $14,256. And this solution allows the city to choose service providers of their choice to service the system by eliminating the proprietary system that is currently in place.
Okay, Lawrence?
So if I may, Jim, I appreciate giving council
you gave us a lot of options, and you narrowed that down to 1 or 2 recommendations to give us flexibility. I appreciate that.
Sure.
But I can't help but wonder, you know that building inside and out. I mean, you maintain it. I mean, you know it. Which one of these options is going to allow you to do your job with the highest level of confidence, most professionally, that you think will make you the best steward of that building? I mean, do we need to spend the extra money, or can we get by with the lower one?
You know, I think that that's what it comes down to. Going with option 1 is going to put you in a position right now where if the city needs to be very budget conscious and needs to say, you know what, we have to do this, we can get by with this solution. But 5 years from now, you're going to find yourself back here probably in the same spot, looking at either aged parts on the north side of the building that are going to have to be replaced, and whether or not that current talent system, whether that proprietary company, whether they decide to continue with that, or they want you to upgrade to a new system. The Honeywell Web Control ultimately gives you more flexibility and allows for greater service providers to come in and create there's less likelihood that that system is going to be discontinued because you have so many more providers that can handle it.
I get all that. You know, we're looking at one item here as the council.
Sure.
You know the building. You know where your problems are going to lie, not only this year but in future years. You understand. You know, if we go with option 2 or option 4A, I should say, recommendation 2. You know, that's going to tie more of our money long term into this specific item. You know, I'm really looking for you to give us guidance, big picture. You know the building, your gut. Do you think option 4A is where you need to be to professionally manage that building, or is option 1 good enough for you to do your job?
Or where would we be in 2 years, in 3 years? Could we be in the same situation we're in tonight?
We won't be the same with which option?
Say take 2, take 1.
Option 4.
With option 2, no, because we're going to have, if you go with option 2, you're going to have everything brand new. I mean, everything in that system is going to be brand new. So you're going to be looking at probably 10 to 12 years down the road before
Okay,
you'd be
so if we
looking
did the
at,
piecemeal,
if you do the piecemeal, you're probably going to be looking at coming back and probably on a yearly basis, looking at a lot of upgrading of maintenance as a piece goes down. Just for example, on the north side of the building, the main air handling unit on the north side of the building has 14 what they call zones, VAV zones, and each of those zones is controlled by dampers, valves, and actuators. Any of those pieces goes bad on that side, you're looking at replacement for each of those, and those pieces on that side are outdated. So you're having to upgrade them to a more sophisticated system. Each time you're doing that, you're looking at, you know, they're not going to go down one at a time. I mean, they're going to go down one at a time. So each time you're piecemealing and putting them together and looking at, you know, it's going to add up,
Okay.
thousands of dollars.
Christy, could we hear from you, please?
Sure, I think Jim's did a really good job of not trying to commit council to one option or the other. So I'll do it for him. And as staff and as the operators of the facility and everything, we do believe that the second recommendation would be the best.
Option 2?
Yeah, we wanted to give you one that was the least expensive that would get us by right now, but that would fix it now. But option 2 would fix it
So
right.
you're comfortable tying the extra money in for a 5-year period to get this problem solved?
Once and for all.
And feeling like you can balance the other priorities you need to balance? That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, Connie.
Have you checked to see if there's any kind of energy rebates for any of this, especially 4A, and what kind of long-term savings we would have every month or every year with the updated system?
I haven't looked at any.
Because I'm sure there has to be some kind of energy savings. Okay.
Maybe not with this. This is, because it's not the actual unit that's producing the heat or the cool air, it's the control system that's just, it's really your giant thermostat. And so there may or may not be with that. We can certainly look into that.
Okay.
Certainly we're going to gain some efficiencies right now in terms of being able to effectively control the temperature.
And I think it's important to understand this is just one element of the HVAC system. had Christie put together sort of like over the next 10 years, what other things would we have to replace? And I think the tower fans were the biggest at 65,000. And understand that an HVAC system in a building of that size, you have to replace things. And so there's another 200,000 that lays out there over the next 10 years just on that system.
Will that link with both of those options?
Yeah.
Hang on just a minute, let's look at committee. Will, any comment? Okay, Debbie?
Number one, what budget is this coming out of? It would
General
be really
fund.
helpful to keep that on that page.
General fund and out of our capital equipment.
Was it-
And we only budgeted 75,000 total for the city this year.
And where are we at now?
We've spent probably 50, there's only about 25 left
For the year,
for the year.
to cover items like this.
Mhm.
Okay. Have we looked at any other company that offers a longer than a 1-year warranty on parts and labor?
I would think that, 1-year warranty should be pretty standard in the industry.
And we priced out, and one of the other solutions on here prices out, I had them price out a 5-year warranty on that, and it was an additional $10,000 for that. And so it just didn't make sense to go that. In the ACS, their 5-year warranty was in the range of, I think, about 30,000. So, I don't think that's money well spent.
I always tell them, I say, okay, so if you're offering a 5-year warranty, you're telling me that your product is not going to last 5 years?
Okay. Any other comments? Questions, John?
Question. This goes before the council, which is in 2 weeks, correct? I hope by that time you got that hot tub fixed, or you're gonna have somebody on you.
Is it
Next
broken?
Wednesday.
Okay.
We can have the meeting in the hot tub if you want.
Okay, do I have a recommendation to take this to the council?
Well, what
This
option
would
are
be
we
option number
recommending?
2,
Well, your recommendation 2,
4A.
option 4A.
which is $14,256 for 5 years. Is that right?
With the Honeywell web control system and the 1-year warranty. Yeah, I would move that we take the Honeywell web control system with the 1-year warranty to council.
Okay, Connie? Will?
That's 4A, the 71,280.
We're paying $14,000 a year.
Financed over 5 years.
That's the one he's just been talking about.
You can take it to council, I'm not necessarily going to vote.
Okay, take it to council, but it won't be on the consent agenda. Thank you, Mr. Jim.
Thank you.
Get back to painting.
Painting party tomorrow at the outdoor pool.
Sorry.
Finish just after the luncheon.
Sorry.
We can head over to the pool and paint.
I'm gonna be dressed. You guys are funny.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, item number 7, Community Development Neighborhood Services.
This is just
Martin, who's doing that one?
we've just prepared a short video for you that highlights
4 departments, annual report,
4 departments.
and put it into a video.
Good.
Do we have
department
music?
heads- Yes. and
Oh,
we have
good.
Department heads pick the most important statistics, and then what we're going to do is post all of the annual reports for all these departments on our website. This is sort of like the highlight video.
Okay.
Cool. Much prefer videos than a bunch of paperwork.
Yes, I agree.
Especially the music.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that.
Came from Sleeping Beauty.
It's Blue
I
Danube
couldn't
or
read
something
that
like
fast.
Blue Danube.
Blue
Danube,
Danube, oh my gosh.
Microsoft
Very
uses
good, very good.
Microsoft.
Anybody have any questions for the departments?
Sure.
Questions?
The only thing, at the very beginning, there was this matrix that we put out showing all the reports that departments do, and then sort of, what the reporting requirements. And it's a really nice matrix, and I'll put it in my weekend update. I want to thank Josh for putting that together, because sometimes we sort of forget all the things that we report on and which departments report what.
Thank you,
Good
Josh.
job.
Very good job.
Look at it.
Okay, anything else for tonight?
Yeah. The pool report.
It's not on the agenda.
I asked that it was be put on the agenda in an email. It went out to everybody.
Yeah, and the mayor told me that since it wasn't approved previously, that I wasn't supposed to put it up.
It wasn't approved by,
The mayor, she approves the agenda for the meetings.
So if we want to talk about something and the mayor doesn't want us to talk about it, that's the way it goes, huh?
The mayor approves the agenda for the meetings.
what? What? That's not right?
What?
So that's a correct?
No,
If-
that's correct. That's what he does, what she does.
Okay. If-
I send her the agenda typically 7 to 10 days before it goes out, and she approves what's on the agenda.
Can a member of the committee bring it up under new business?
What?
Legally, can a member of the committee bring something up under new business?
We don't have new business on our agenda.
No, but for the council.
Yeah. that's
Do
the
we
council.
have any repercussions? I mean, can we do anything? Can any member of this committee do anything if the mayor doesn't want it done? I mean, I know that's a loaded question. I just.
Yeah, that's slightly.
That's why we have Dave Martin here.
In other words, the city prints the agenda, and we don't have anything to say about it.
Well,
Is that what you're telling me?
What I typically do is I take those items that I hear that want to be put on an agenda, and I make sure at the next meeting I get it put on the agenda.
Okay? Then here,
And then the mayor can
it hadn't been too
decide.
long ago, I believe, at a meeting, at a council meeting, you'd received a letter from an individual that wanted something pulled off of the council, a council agenda,
Correct.
and you pulled it off.
Correct.
Okay? What's the difference between that and a council or a person on a committee wanting to talk about something?
Well, as it relates to the example, and Bill, is that in our code of ordinances? You pulled that from our code of ordinances, didn't you?
Yes, I wanted further discussion on it.
A member of the audience can ask for an item to be pulled from the agenda. for-
That's correct. A member of the audience can act if they're in the audience. Nothing about a letter going to you or anybody else. In that code, it clearly states, and I'll get it and read it to you verbatim if you want me to. It says, "A person in attendance to the meeting can pull something off the agenda if they're at the meeting."
If we had a code book, I think it says that they can ask staff to do.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I can get it very quickly.
Dave is going to get his book.
It's got it, it's right there in the book.
It
You don't-
refers to the consent agenda.
Right.
And the item still gets discussed and it still gets voted on, it's just not on the consent agenda.
Correct.
It's no different than what we do at the beginning of every meeting. And the conversation was that members of the audience.
you want to talk, you want to come up here and join
Excuse me, okay.
And it was to allow for, if citizens wanted to have an opportunity to speak to an item, because what we do now is if it's not on the consent agenda, it's on the regular agenda, you can speak to that item when it comes up on the agenda. You don't have to talk about it under public business because it's going to be discussed, so you get to talk about it. And so all it does is move it from it being voted on to allowing a person to talk about it. Because public discussion comes after the consent agenda.
What really has me kind of disjointed here is that we had a meeting last week. It was agreed upon that you would have the information for us. Everybody that was at that meeting that is here tonight was anticipating that information. When it wasn't on this agenda, I asked that it be put onto the agenda.
But you hadn't seen that agenda yet. That agenda,
As soon as it was emailed to me,
yeah, which would have been Friday, but the mayor had already approved the agenda for this Wednesday night.
but we discussed this on Wednesday last week,
Right.
and that
The only thing,
we were going to discuss it this week.
the only thing I can tell you is the person you need to talk to is the mayor. And if she wants to modify so that as things are brought up in other committees or work sessions, they're put on an agenda without her approval, I'm fine with it, but I just need.
I feel like I'm being kept in the dark here, because the council has actually requested this information.
Well,
Or
no,
the people that were at that meeting last week requested
a work
this
session,
information.
you can't vote, so there was no vote. It was a request from a council member. The agenda is already approved. If you, I saw your letter to the mayor, so I was waiting to hear, should I amend the agenda to include it? And she told me no. That he already had an agenda, and
I simply wanted to discuss it and take a look at the figures.
Right.
Not that I was actually really gung-ho about trying to close the pool this year. And because right now, it seems as if it's going to be open, and because we've spent money, we're, painting, we're going forward with everything. If and it's in the budget to operate it this year, that's fine. But we need to have information like that and to be able to discuss things like this to see what it is that we're missing, what it is we're losing this year by operating the pool, so that we have a good understanding as to whether or not to put it into next year's budget.
And I think we discussed this after the last, after the
and
pool
we'll still
closing.
have time to do that in next year's budget.
To help council members understand expectations, what governs this? Is there ordinances that are on our books? Is this some type of Robert's Rule of Order? Is it, how do we understand what the rules are? Or is it just whatever the mayor says? I don't know. I'm just asking dumbly how we choose what we do.
Mission has a code book. They got it in there. As far as the state of Kansas goes, they do not believe in and they do not abide by Robert's Rules of Orders. I've been told that several times. They say we don't respect Robert's Rules of Orders. I said, the Congress of the United States does, and they've got 14 parliamentarians that they talk to about it, and you mean we can't get anything out of you people up here on it? We don't believe in it.
Why don't we have Mike bring this to our attention, discuss, we can look into this, you can bring it to our attention at the next finance meeting, or you can do it at the next CDC meeting, but I think we're just going to be one argument after another here, and I don't think that's the purpose of what we want to do.
Can I do it at, I just don't have a lot of time for, I have the packet for next
That's fine.
finance administration, which is Friday, but I have all the spirit of missions.
Right.
And Martha is actually not here.
Right.
So can I do it in June?
In June.
Can I do it in June? Is that soon enough, or do I need to make sure that I get it done before then?
It doesn't matter. It's up to the mayor. Ask her if it can go on the agenda. See, seriously, why are you asking me?
Well, don't yell at him, it's not
Because-
him, well, he can't help
That's why I
it.
said it's just.
I don't mean to take it out on you. I apologize.
This is futile. So Mike will do
But,
that in June.
what's the point in asking to have things put on the agenda for a committee meeting if it's just simply going to be yay or nay by one person? This is a committee. She doesn't come to these meetings because she says, no, that's a council thing.
Okay, I think what we need to do is you can go and talk to Mike about this, or you can talk to the mayor about this.
We're in a meeting. It has not been adjourned, and I'm just simply voicing my
I know,
opinions
but I
here.
think we're rehashing, and I just think it's not getting us anywhere. So if Mike said he would look into this and bring it back in June.
I'll bring back the policies and the ordinances as is prescribed for meetings and agendas.
And could I just ask, I had asked also, not necessarily for this meeting, but could we have a list of the services and things provided by other entities? Like, that was something we'd ask for too. Not necessarily for you to do it or by today, but that's something down the road that would be really helpful. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else?
We
We are adjourned. Yes, we are adjourned.
Good job, Susan.
Thank you.
Never easy. Looking forward to tomorrow, though.
Leslie?
Good.
I have no doubt you will pull off.